Good to see everybody today. Just to give you an overview coming back from the Alabama A&M win. Obviously, that was a little bit of a slow start for us, and we've talked about that. Even though it seems like it was forever ago, offense picked it up after a little bit of a slow start. Defense played pretty well for the most part. The whole game had some big takeaways in the second half. Got to play a number of people, which was a good thing. And then we went into our open date. We practiced early in the week and went through Wednesday, worked a couple opponents, and biggest thing was got a little bit healthier and just had a little bit of a mental break. Got to do some good recruiting, leaving out on Wednesday, so that was a big positive. Obviously, we know we're going into conference play, and as we say, the new season or the real season may be getting here now. So, and we'll talk about that more as we go. But was a good open date for us, and I guess probably can't have a bad open date, but really was needed, especially with us coming out of spring training. With as few people as we had on the O-line, et cetera. August was we really stressed them, and so it really probably was came at a great time for us getting ready to go into conference play.
Some of the injuries. Jordan Howard, I know. What's the status?
We're in really good shape. We felt good. He was practicing by the end of the week, so we feel really good about him. I think it was more of just a scary type deal, with the blood in the eye and that type thing. Just wanted to make sure he was good. We got him back. We'll get Staples back. We'll get all those guys back 100%. So feel pretty good about that. That's why it came at a great time.
What can you say about the slow starts? Seems like you had one every game.
Well, one time it was a defensive slow start. One time it may have been an offensive slow start. So it's different, different things. Sometimes that's just, you got to adjust to what your opponents are doing. And I think defensively we came out a little better, and offensively we've really been starting fast. But give Alabama A&M credit. They did some things that we had not seen, and maybe we were feeling good about what we'd done in the previous week. So I think it was good for us offensively to come back and challenge ourselves. And at the same time, your opponents are going to do some things that you hadn't seen before, and you've got to adjust to them.
Speaking of last week, did you guys catch Mississippi State's win over LSU?
I think we did, yeah.
Does that help your guys' confidence, considering how competitive you guys were against them?
I think so. I think that's one of the things we talk about all the time. We feel like we can compete with anybody on our schedule, but we feel like anybody on our schedule can beat us, and I think that's the scary thing about where we're approaching in a conference. It's really I think really good. It's pretty evident that we're good, a good conference. And I think that's going to be the thing for us. We got a chance to win, but we could easily lose any of these games we got the rest of the year, and that's a little bit scary. But yeah, it was good to see Mississippi State play well, and that does help our confidence.
Absolutely. Back to the starts, you don't change anything. You don't take a look and see, what, we haven't really gotten a touchdown there since the first game of the season. I know there's only been 3.
Sure.
But I noticed that FIU. The one thing they do start out really well.
Sure. Without being arrogant, we're scoring 41 points a game, 500-something yards. So I think, yes, all I do is we look in the mirror, we say, what can we do better? We weren't happy. We were very disappointed offensively. We challenged our guys last week. I think you're playing a great defense. So, it's definitely worrisome. But I think all we do is say, how can we be better? What can we do better? It's a daily. That's all in the past. Anything we did in the past that was positive, you're going to keep those things. But, what do we do today? How do we get better?
I saw FIU, 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Similar to the one system that you were seeing here at UAB, where it's just a hot hand roll. They do different things.
I think that was really their deal. I think they had a true freshman quarterback come in, and I think they had their guy from the year before who had experience. I believe they really thought their other guy may have been the guy. And I think it kind of had developed, from what I had seen. I think they were going to come in and play their young guy. I think they had made the decision to play him, let him be their guy, and then he gets banged up, and then the other guy comes back in. So I really think they had made the decision to go to the one quarterback system for whatever reason. Maybe he fits their scheme a little bit better, but then he got banged up. I think he got his finger hurt and he got his knee banged up. So from everything I'm hearing, he's fine. But
are you preparing for both guys?
Oh yeah. I don't think they don't train them a lot different. One of them may be a little bit more of a runner, but they're both good. Obviously, they both have played, and I think they're good offensively. I think they're very capable. They do a lot of great things. They're very multi-formational. Obviously, you got a coach who's who's had a lot of success. So I think they know what they're doing, and they've got great skill athletes all over the field. So.
Coach, how much of a different energy level or vibe is it being conference play at practice and just at the facility during the week?
I think it's going to be a different vibe. I think we've tried to be, you know, how big was the Troy game to us, our first game, and then Mississippi State playing an SEC team, and then, you know, maybe you lose a little bit of that, then as you shouldn't against an Alabama A&M. It should just be the next week. But this, if it's not, it better be, you know. And I think we had a good open date. Wednesday probably started a little bit slower than I wanted, you know, but I think we finished up good. But I mean, it should be. It's a playoff game. I mean, and that's kind of how we're approaching it. This is a playoff game. We're not looking ahead. There's nobody else. It's going to be a one-game playoff, and then that's the way it's going to be the rest of the year, which is going to be tough. I mean, it's stressful. But that's the only way we know to do it. So, you know, when we talk about a slow start or we talk about these things, we talk all the time about self-analysis, you know, or analyzing ourselves, holding the mirror up, being accountable. You know, what are we not getting done? That's what we do every day. So I think, yeah, those things may happen, but we're constantly looking at them. We're constantly, how can we fix it? How can we be better? But it should ramp up even more being conference play for sure.
Does the rotation change at all? Jordan's healthy, just BJ coming off his record game. Is this going to be more equal, or is there going to be one guy maybe that has a few more carries, or are you just going to see how everything flows? We just kind of see how it flows. I think it's hard to go in there in a game and say, but it's based on how tired they are, who's doing what, and you know that we've got certain plays. Maybe we like one of those guys a little bit better, but I think with today's number of snaps, you know, if you're thinking, let's just use 80 snaps. I mean, that's a lot of snaps for one guy, you know, with us being a one-back offense. So, I mean, if they both did 40, that's a lot of snaps, you know, and that's kind of how we look at it, just keeping it balanced really for rest purposes as much as anything. How dangerous, from what you've seen, Richard Leonard returning kicks?
Very dangerous.
I mean, when they compare him to T.Y. Hilton, that tells you kind of
Yeah.
what he's capable of.
Well, they're third in the country in I think that's what I saw this morning, third in the country in returns, kickoff returns. He's a great punt return. But when you got a guy that'll take it 7 or 8 yards deep out of the end zone, and then normally that's not a good move. And then he's getting out to the 40 and the 50. And, I mean, we're definitely aware of who he is, and they do a great job with it. So, yeah, I'm definitely worried about him.
Anything else for Coach?
Madricus Humphrey?
Yes.
Is he fully healthy? Is he still dealing with some nagging stuff?
Had some nagging stuff last week. We hope he's fully ready to go this week. And he's one of those guys that fights through it in practice, and then it has tweaked it a little bit in the game. But we think he's 100%. We need him 100%.
It's never really been anything about his talent. We know how talented he is, but what's it going to take? Maybe these injuries holding him back and really breaking through to what he's capable of?
I think so, and hopefully, now if we can get him 100%, you'll see him. And he's done it in practice. I mean, last scrimmage, I was telling somebody the other day, I think our last scrimmage in the summer, he led us with about 120 or 30 yards. So he's got the ability. He practices. We got to get him to the game and keep him in the game.
Is that frustrating as a coach? I mean, you see what he's capable of.
Right.
He's probably very frustrated.
Right.
He can't really do it.
And he's handled it, but I think we're a little frustrated because we see him in practice, and the good and the bad is this is a guy that comes to practice. It's not like he's laying out and then trying to show up in the games. I mean, he practices and then has just gotten banged up a little bit in the game. But I think that open date hopefully helped him too.
Coach, real quickly, you guys are top 40 nationally in rushing, passing, and scoring. Is that sort of how the identity of this team is working out, or do you guys think you'll be more of a low-scoring, grind-out games at some point?
We want to score. I said that early on. We don't want to sacrifice the fact that we believe in defense for our scoring. We still want to score. Probably that puts us, defensively sometimes in a tough scenario because we do tempo. But we said to be great defensively, we don't have to shut our offense down. So heck, if we can be rushing and passing, that to me is balance. It's just this week it may be passing, next week it may be rushing. I mean, that would be great, and then they don't really know what to stop. Or we're taking what's available. But I would say there's no doubt we're playing against a great defense. We've played against some good defense, specifically Mississippi State being a really good defense. But I think they're right there. I mean, they're talented, got a good scheme, and, and it shows in what they've done up to this point.
Anything else? All right.
Okay. Thank y'all for coming.